What's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer, and welcome to my daily silver stacking video. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat today. This is going to be an incredible video, to say the least. I wholeheartedly mean this with every single ounce of truth I have in my body. That's how good and that's how excited I am to share this video with you. Now, we're talking about banks, shorting gold and silver, suppressing the price. So I've talked about this in the past with price manipulation, JPMorgan spoofing and all that, but I took things to a completely different level, and I'll show you why. We also, which is going to put the icing on the cake of this video, have an interview from Butler. He's getting interviewed, and he's talking about this subject. He's talking about how banks suppress the price of silver, throwing trillions of dollars to boost up stocks and throwing trillions of dollars to suppress gold and silver. He made one of the craziest articles that I've ever read exposing banks. I love Butler. A lot of people do, and that's because he talks about the truth. And I try to expose the truth as well on my channel. A lot of people say I'm like fear-mongering or whatever. Now, I'm showing the reality. I'm showing the reason that we do invest into silver, and it's because banks are shady. And yes, there is a lot of shadiness happening. There's a lot more corruptness happening than people realize, and I'm going to talk about that. A lot of silver channels won't. They don't want to get into the negative side. I don't even call it the negative side. I call it the truth, and I want you guys to know the whole truth. When, obviously silver has a lot, and I mean a lot of potential, and I talk about that. I talk about why silver and gold are both the safest investments you can ever invest in. I expose stocks, and I definitely try to expose the reality of these markets. Not everything is rainbows and unicorns, and I'm not going to portray it that way, because that's misleading. That's setting you up for unrealistic expectations, which leads to resentment, which ultimately is going to push you away from the precious metals world. So yes, sometimes things aren't perfect, and that when you're looking at a financial system that's based off of debt, which is based off of us basically being a slave to the dollar, then yes, I'm going to talk about my perspective on that, because I talk about anything and everything that affects the price of silver, good or bad. With that said, though, that was a little rant. With that said, you want some silver? Well, guess what? I'm doing a giveaway, 48K giveaway. If you want a chance to win some silver, click subscribe and click the bell, because the entry video will be getting posted in a couple of days. So you are literally going to have an opportunity to get some silver. I'm picking 2 winners, so your chances have doubled. May the luckiest stacker win. Now, the link to these articles will be in the description. We have some good stuff to cover today, folks, to say the least. It's going to be a longer video. I hope you stick all the way through, because there's so much information, context in this interview, in the podcast, and I don't want you to miss anything. I'm not saying, oh, watch this video just to get viewer retention time or whatever. I really don't care about that. I genuinely mean that there's so much in this video we're going to be talking about that there's nothing I can kind of just throw out and then kind of just, waste the rest of the video just to get more, watch time or whatever. No, that's how good this stuff is. And this podcast is a little long. It's 24 minutes. I'm obviously not going to play that all the way through. I'm going to highlight main points. I'll listen myself a little bit. When they speak something, I'll play it for you guys, and I'll talk about it. So yeah, very fun video. I'll shut up now. Probably already annoyed you enough. So yeah, let's jump into this.
They're the kingpin, the kahuna. They're the number one guy. They're in charge. They're what the gold and silver are going to do price-wise, what JPMorgan says they're going to do or decides they're going to do. And it's hard to figure out it's a criminal mindset here. So you got to think like a criminal. And it's like, all right, why in the world would they part with any physical silver or gold here, okay, to contain prices when they stand to make so much money if they just stand back and do nothing and let the price run. We can't answer what's going on in JPMorgan's mind, okay.
So he's talking about banks shorting the markets, and he definitely JP Morgan's going to come up the most as they're the sketchiest bank in the world. But like he says, they never lose, right? That's nuts. That's not a thing, right? These banks that you have to, and if they are, which we know they are, rigging the markets, why win every time? And as you hear later in this interview, I have a theory, because he says in this interview they always won until last year. Things have, it looks sketchy for them because of how drastic things are. But if you guys remember, JP Morgan, 2 of their employees, I think 4 now, in the last year and a half, have got sent to prison for spoofing, for placing fake or false buy orders, canceling them before they go through, right? JP Morgan everybody knows that when it comes to spoofing, they do it the most, or they've at least got caught the most. So, as JP Morgan, as they win every single time shorting, wouldn't right now make the most sense to, maybe slip up and lose and not always win? It makes sense. So maybe they're purposely doing this right now. Who knows? It's all speculation. It's all theory. But that definitely does come to mind, especially because you've seen over the last year, they are cracking down in a much more punishable way than just a little slap on the wrist. Nowadays, people are going to prison. Nowadays, they're getting heftier fines. So it makes a thing.
Took any losses and always took profits. Positions went against them at times as they were scaling in to the selling on the short side, adding positions. But when all was said and done and the prices finally sold off, they were able to buy back all their positions. J.P. Morgan and the other big shorts were always able to buy back their short positions at an average price lower than the average price at which they sold. So they never lost, which is, nuts. It's like, how can you have never losing, only making profits? Okay, that's not a free market. That's the definition of a rigged market. And that's what took place, okay, for the whole time up until about a year ago. And a year ago, we don't know yet. They went into the short side again, these big shorts, when gold started moving higher from below 1,300 back, a year or so ago, and they still haven't gotten out. The price has moved higher. They're sitting with very big open losses on the order of $6 billion or so. It's about the most they've ever been out, and the jury is definitely out on whether they're going to be able to, extract themselves from this, from this big open loss.
So yeah, he goes a lot into JP Morgan, these banks that are obviously moving the price to their liking. Whatever they want the price of silver to do, they're going to do. But I like also that, and Ted put out an article a couple of months ago I covered, where he's talking about this can't go on for too much longer. Fundamentals are going to come back. And if you paid attention, I said something, I covered something that happened also a couple months ago that did give us insight on how and why and when this might happen. Do you remember I covered an article a couple weeks ago, probably about a month ago, that someone tried to turn in their silver contract on the COMEX, but it got rejected, got denied? If everyone tries to turn in their silver contracts for physical silver, it would collapse because we don't have enough physical silver. But what are they going to do? Well, last time a similar situation like this happened, they banned silver. 1980, the Hunt brothers pushed it up to $50, and they owned 77% of the global silver supply. And no, that's not an exaggerated number. That's a literal number. Well, I mean, some say 77%, but regardless, most of the silver in the world were owned by the Hunt brothers. But banks need silver and gold, and they've actually confiscated gold several times throughout history. I made a video about that too. It's like 10, 15 times, not just in the United States. They've literally confiscated your gold and silver. Crazy stuff. They're not going to kick in your door, but it's illegal to own it, and you have to turn it in, or up to 10 years in prison. But that's a whole separate video you can go check out. But regardless, things are changing, and if you don't realize that, then tell me why that American Eagles have a crazy high premium when these coins are usually sold, $2-3 most over spot price. That's because silver's scarce and it's becoming more expensive because of that. Whether it's spot price or what you have to pay for the physical price, right? Because even a spot price is $29, or let's say spot price is $50. But to buy an ounce of physical silver at $75, what's the real price of silver? What it says on the screen, or what you're paying for it out of pocket? Think about that. But anyways, this is, and I like this article right here because this is kind of the aftermath of what Jim Cook, who is in the interview with Ted Butler, right here. This is Jim Cook interviewing Ted Butler. And then Jim Cook writes an article about Ted Butler being right. And then so Jim, obviously, after this interview, is kind of explaining his thoughts on what Ted Butler was saying in the interview, which is pretty cool to read the aftermath of this. So if you want to, look into this stuff, I post all the links in the description. I try to keep my videos in a timely manner, so I'm not going to go into all of the specifics, but I am definitely going to cover the stuff that you need to know. Now, this is another interesting, and this is coming from a whole different perspective, right? Silver's beneficial in more than one way. Silver has uses in more than one way, and it's also interesting to look at how many reasons we have. I mean, I could tell you 10 different reasons why silver is extremely bullish over the next 20 years. 2 decades, or I could also tell you 10 reasons why stocks are extremely bearish over the next 10 years, right? There's so much going for silver, and it's like the stars are aligning right now. But anyways, here's another article why governments hate gold and silver. It's definitely coming from a completely different angle than what Ted Butler's talking about, right? This is more of an economic perspective, right? As the foundation of their fiat currency is rejected and avoided, government power is compromised. Fiat currencies trade the people's freedom and security for the government's freedom to squander the wealth of the nation on wasteful pet programs, wars, and corruption. This is why freedom of the people is so intertwined with the sound monetary unit. This is also why founders like gold and silver and supporters of big government hate them. A lot of times, people play the nice guy when they're really the bad guy, but everyone can tell that it's a front, right? You can tell when someone's being genuine, when they're being truthful. You can also tell when someone is faking. You can also tell when, especially, and it's terrible to say, but most people that when they finally do hear about gold and silver, or if they do, it's coming from a negative light because it's mainstream that are trying to support stocks. It's almost like people that buy gold and silver almost seemed like rebellious, which is silver's called the devil's metal for more than one way, not just because it's so risky. It's also the rebellious form of even gold, right? Governments even love gold. Gold is money. Silver isn't, even though silver was literally the first money created from us. But, it's interesting. I would love for you to participate and let me know what you think in the comments. Just throw your 2 cents in. I thought this was a pretty cool video to add a layer of, actual audio coming from somebody else, just besides me, and especially from someone that exposes so much truth. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you want a chance to win some free silver from my 48K giveaway. Also, if you want to check out some merch, slayersmerch.com. I run a clothing company called AG47 Apparel. It's clothes for silver stackers. I mean, we got the new Slightly Skeptical hoodie and t-shirt. I think it looks really clean. We have all types of stuff. We have the shirt, The Dollar's Worthless. Then under there it says, so buy silver. And then on the back it says, 3 9's fine, 0.999%. We have the Got Silver shirt, and on the back it says, cause I do. We have the Dollar Crash hoodie, the Greedy hoodie, and on the back it has a barcode that says priceless. I mean, lots of different stuff. I mean, I just think it's cool that we're able to express our passion for precious metals by the clothes we wear, and I wanted to start that so you guys could have that opportunity. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Make sure you hit the like button. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.